Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting by her sister on the bank and having nothing to do. Once or twice she had peeped into the book her sister was reading, but it had no pictures or conversation in it.
What's the use of a book without pictures or conversations?
Thought Alice. She was considering in her own mind, as well as she could, for the hot day made her feel very sleepy and stupid, whether the pleasure of making a daisy chain would be worth the trouble of getting up and picking the daisies. Then, suddenly, a white rabbit with pink eyes ran close by her. There was nothing so very remarkable in that, nor did Alice think it so very much out of the way to hear the rabbit say to itself,
oh dear, I shall be too late."
But when the rabbit actually took a watch out of its waistcoat pocket and looked at it and then hurried on, Alice started to her feet and ran after it. She was just in time to see it pop down a large hole under the fence. Down went Alice after it, never once considering how in the world she was to get out again. Suddenly she found herself falling down what seemed to be a deep well. Down, down, down.
I wonder how many miles I've fallen by this time. Maybe I should fall right through the earth.
Down, down, down. When suddenly, down she came upon a heap of sticks and dry leaves, and the fall was over.
Oh, my ears and whiskers, how late it's getting.
Hello there.
Hello indeed. I don't believe we've been introduced.
I'm Alice.
Pleased to meet you, I'm sure.
Well, go on then.
Go on, what?
Introduce yourself.
You mean you don't know who I am? Why, everybody in Larundel-land knows me. My name is Marmaduke Money, and I live in Larundel-land. And though I don't earn much money, I'm famous throughout the land. Marmaduke, Marmaduke, important and famous I am. Marmaduke, Marmaduke, important and famous I am. Now, have you ever seen such ears? My whiskers, the best you could see. My presence always brings cheers, yet I show such modesty. Marmaduke, Marmaduke, important and famous I am. Marmaduke, Marmaduke, important and famous I am. Now the Aussies may have Malcolm Fraser, and England may rule the sea. France has the Mona Lisa, but Larundel-land's got me. Marmaduke, Marmaduke, important and famous I am. Marmaduke, Marmaduke, important and famous I am.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Bunny.
Oh, do call me Marmaduke. Even though I am important and famous, I'm also very modest.
Marmaduke! Marmaduke, where is that rabbit? It's never around when you want it.
Oh my goodness, it's our beloved leader. Here I am, your beloved ship.
Marmaduke! You're late again. What kept you?
£1,000, your leadership. I was delayed by this young lady Alice, who engaged me in conversation.
Alice? Alice? I know of no Alice in Larundel-land. Are you a migrant child? A new Larundel-landian?
I am, I think, what could be called a visitor, sir.
Visitor? Making a tour? Let me think. Why, we could call you a tourist. What a capital idea. This could lead to a completely new industry in Larundel-land. Why, I can just see it now. Soon there will be tourists everywhere. What a clever idea. Splendid. I shall appoint myself Minister of Tourism. Alice, as Larundel-land's Minister of Tourism, may I officially welcome you to our fair country. You, our very first tourist, shall be granted the freedom of the land. I appoint you, Marmaduke, as Alice's official guide. Ah, what bliss. Think of the cash flow. Think of what it will do for our balance of payments. What won't we do to get tourists? Anything at all to get tourists. Nothing held back to get tourists, 'cause we want the money. Flog all our culture to get tourists. Upset the natives to get tourists. To hell with ecology, let's get tourists. Think of the lovely money. Advertise in America to get tourists, right to Japan to get tourists, even Kiwis if they're tourists and they've got some money. What would we do to get tourists? Anything at all to get tourists. Nothing held back to get tourists, because we want the money. Now, Alice, where are your papers?
Papers? I don't know what you mean, sir.
You may call me beloved leader.
Yes. Beloved leader.
If you're a tourist, you must have papers. A passport, entry visa, certificate of vaccination, health clearance, dog license.
I don't have a dog, but I do have a cat. I don't think you need a license for a cat, do you?
What about all the others? You must have papers if you're to be a proper tourist.
I'm sorry, beloved leader. I don't think I'm cut out to be a tourist.
There, don't cry. Well, as I suppose you're the only tourist we have at the moment, we'll just have to get you some papers. Marmaduke, take her to see the Larundel-land doctor and give her a health clearance. That will have to do for the moment.
Yes, your leadership. At once, your handsomeness. Come, Alice. Come with me to our doctor.
Next patient, please, nurse.
Doctor, this was Instagram.
Write that down, nurse. Suffers from nerves. Take your clothes off, nurse.
Why should she take her clothes off? It's me you're seeing.
If you can't see why she should take her clothes off, you do need to see a doctor. A rolling stone gathers no moss.
I beg your pardon?
Write that down too, nurse. Deaf. A rolling stone gathers no moss.
Oh, yes.
A stitch in time saves night.
Yes, of course.
It's an ill wind that doesn't blow someone some good.
It is indeed.
Well, go on.
Go on, what?
Well, what's your reaction to these things? What do they mean?
What do they mean?
Yes, what do they mean?
Just like that. You want me to tell you what they mean?
Yes, what do they mean?
Don't you know what they mean?
Yes, of course I know what they mean.
Well, if you already know what they mean, why do you want me to tell you?
Look, let's start again.
All right.
A rolling stone gathers no moss.
Is that so? Why not?
You're not supposed to ask me why not.
But why not? You said you knew what it meant.
Write that down too, nurse. Patient uncooperative. Now look, Mr. Brown, I'm here to help you. Now, apart from suffering from nerves, poor vision and deafness, what's wrong with you?
I'm feeling depressed, Doctor.
Depressed? Depressed? What have you got to feel depressed about?
Well, last month, the firm that I've worked for the last 25 years was taken over by a giant multinational company, and I was made redundant and lost my job. Then my wife ran off with the man next door and took all our savings with her. Then there was a fire, and our house got burned down. I lost everything in that fire. Then I found out that the wife hadn't paid the insurance on the house. I'd given her the money to do it, but she lost it on the horses. Then they cut off my dole payments because I didn't attend a job interview they had arranged for me. I had intended to do so, but in all the fuss about the fire, it completely slipped my mind.
Well, go on.
That's it.
That's it.
Yes, doctor, that's it.
That's all.
Yes, doctor, that's all.
And you got depressed just because of that?
Yes, doctor, I did.
Nothing else?
Not that I know of, doctor.
No midlife crisis?
I don't think so, doctor.
No confusion of identity?
Not that I'm aware of, doctor.
You don't hate your father?
No, doctor. My father's a wonderful man.
You don't feel that your mother rejects you?
On the contrary, doctor. My mother has always loved me.
Well, look, Mr. Brown, I'm a very busy man. If you can't come up with something better than that, some reasonable cause for depression, I'm afraid I can't be of much help. The sort of things you've come up with are the kind of things that happen to people every day of the week. But they don't get depressed, do they? They don't come running to a doctor just because things go a little wrong. You ought to try being a doctor. Then you'd get depressed. You don't know what it's like these days. All the forms you have to fill in. Paperwork, paperwork, paperwork. You can't stop for a minute.
A rolling stone gathers no moss.
Don't interrupt. If you put it off till the end of the month, you get a letter from the government. You have to do it all in triplicate.
A stitch in time saves 9.
Shut up! And then to spend all your time looking down germ-ridden throats and poking about smelly bums and hearing all about other people's troubles. But do they care about my troubles? No, not a bit. All they want to do is tell me about theirs. On and on and on they go. Never a thought to say, how about you, Doctor? How are you feeling today? Everything okay?
Oh, well, it's an ill wind that doesn't blow someone some good.
I beg your pardon.
I said it's an ill wind that doesn't blow someone some good.
And what exactly do you mean by that?
It means that I'm feeling better. Thanks, Doc. And don't forget, every cloud has a silver lining.
Oh well, take your clothes off, nurse.
our beloved leader.
It doesn't look very impressive, does it? Where I come from, the leaders all live in palaces.
Don't be so rude. Here in Larundel-land, the leader chooses to live in a home that's the same as that in which his people live. We have a wise saying, when in Larundel-land, do as the Larundelonians do.
I beg your pardon?
When in Larundel-land, do as the Larundelonians do.
I don't see what that's got to do with it.
It's a very wise saying. And there's another one that could well apply to you.
What is it then?
People who live in glass houses should be seen and not heard.
That's not it.
Yes.
And it's not. It's people who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
That's not it at all. I should know. I live here. You're just a visitor, and a most precocious visitor too, if I may say so. Any fool could see that if you live in a glass house, people will be able to see you, even if they can't hear you. Now, I don't wish to discuss it anymore.
But
Enough. Oh, look, here comes our beloved leader now. Quick, let's come over closer and we'll be able to see him.
Hello, Mother. I just dropped in for afternoon tea.
Hello, dear. Do come and meet my friend, Mrs. Forbes Hamilton. She's just dropped in for a chat. I haven't seen her for ages.
Hello, Mrs. Forbes Hamilton.
Oh, you're right, Elsie. He is growing. You're a sturdy little chap, aren't you? He's steady on his feet too, Elsie.
Yes, that's because he eats all his veggies. Don't you, dear?
Good chico-chico. Good auntie neighbours with a big smile. There's a good boy.
Can I have a cup of tea, please, Mother? I can't stay long. I've called a special cabinet meeting to discuss the financial crisis, so I must hurry.
Is he potty trained, Elsie?
Oh, yes. There was no trouble with that. Took to it like a duck to water. Mind you, I still worry about his bowels. Have you been to David?
Yes, Mother. Look, I don't think I can stay. I'm really worried about this cabinet meeting.
That's all right, dear. You don't keep your little friends waiting. You can go out and play.
Thank you, Mother. It's been very nice meeting you, Mrs. Forbes Hamilton. I'm sorry that affairs of state pull me away.
That's all right, dear. Here, for being such a polite little chap, take this and buy yourself some lollies. Is he allowed to go to the shops, Elsie?
Oh, yes. He knows not to go on the road, don't you, dear?
Yes, Mother. Thank you, Mrs. Forbes Hamilton.
Auntie Mavis.
Yes, Auntie Mavis. Good afternoon.
Don't be late home, dear. Be home by 5, and Mummy will give you a nice hot bath.
Oh, very well, Mummy.
Well, he has grown into a sturdy little chap, Elsie. You must be quite proud of him.
Well, yes. Although I do worry about him sometimes, you know, but he doesn't act his age sometimes, you know. It's a worry being a mother, isn't it, Mavis?
We now present Larundel-land's troubadour of song, Mr. Cecil Smith, who will sing If I Loved You.
If I loved you
and again I would try to say all I want you to know. If I loved you time and again, I would try to say all I want you to know. Trying to tell you, but afraid and shy, I let my golden chances pass me by. Soon you'd leave me, off you would go in the mist of day. Never, never to know how I love you. If I love you, trying to tell you, but afraid and shy, I let my golden chances pass me by. Soon you'd leave me, off you would go in the mist of day. Never, never to know how I love you. If I love you. I'd now like to sing for you a song made famous by the late Richard Talbot, and he had a great part in writing it too, My Heart and I. We are in love with you, my heart and I, and we are always true, my heart and I. When you are far away, each smile's a tear, but it's a lovely day when you are near. Maybe that love is blind when passion rules, and that my heart and I are just two fools. But yet, my darling, if we ever said goodbye, you'd see we both would die, my heart and I. Once in a lifetime a love dream comes true, just once in a lifetime or never. I met my fate on the day I met you. The moment I saw you, I knew. Strange fascination seemed to thrill and hold me. Faithful temptation, such as no one ever told me. Everything I would endure for you, come what may, and I'll keep smiling through. My heart and I. When you are far away, each smile's a tear, but it's a lovely day when you are near. Maybe that love is blind when passion rules, and that my heart and I are just two fools. But yet, my darling, if we ever said goodbye, you'd see we both would die. My heart and I.
Order, order. Gentlemen, please, gentlemen.
Really, beloved leader, I object.
Yes, I'm sorry, Mrs. Token Gesture. I mustn't overlook the fact that there is a lady present as well. I apologise. Lady and gentlemen, order, please. As you know, I've called this meeting to discuss the crisis that has been caused by the cutback ordered by the United Nations Stealth Commission. I know that you're aware that some time back the Stealth Commission set up a committee, the so-called Secretary Gang,
Please,
under the chairmanship,
please, beloved leader.
should I say the chairpersonship of Mr. Kevin Hines. Largely through the work of Mr. Hines, the so-called Secretary Gang have published a report in the form of a pruning guide. You will recall that at our last meeting, Mr. Oldfellow, the Treasurer, was asked to study this report and to deliver to this meeting a synopsis of its contents and general intentions. Are you in a position to do so, Mr. Oldfellow?
I am indeed, beloved leader.
Then I should be obliged if you would.
The good old pruning guide view. From my observation of this report, it would appear at this point of time, notwithstanding anything to the contrary, be that as it may.
Oh, do get on with it, old fellow.
Sorry, leader. It seems that we're being asked to foster the local nurseryman, whilst at the same time keeping gardening off the front page. This Kevin Hines fellow advocates that if any of our plants are growing well, we should dig them up and sell them to the local nursery. However, if they're not flourishing due to lack of soil nutrients, the procedure is to prune them back hard. From my study of the report, it seems that the main thing is to avoid any growth in the vegetable sector, as this would encourage inflation in the number of aphids and thrips.
And what are your recommendations, Mr. Oldfellow?
I believe that taking due cognizance of this report, we must re-examine the developmental structure of our socio-demographic regions to ensure an integrated service delivery on a transmural basis. We must at all times be careful not to confuse our aims with our objectives if we are to achieve our goals. These will shape our plans which in turn will generate the appropriate strategies, which are the means of achieving our objectives, as distinct from the appropriate tactics, which are the means of ensuring the general strategies for the specific situations encountered. As to the implementation, this is best distilled so as to separate off the methods to be employed from the appropriate techniques suggested by the plan. The method is the establishment of routines or sequences of behaviour which can be selected according to the dictates of the plan, whereas the techniques are specific behaviours within specific sequences which likewise can be selected. The implementation will lead to the final phase, which is development, with its two essential ingredients, namely evaluation and consolidation. In the mind of the ordinary man in the street...
I object.
Sorry. In the mind of the ordinary person in the street, these are often confused and end up as a confluent. This is incorrect and inevitably leads to confusion, as evaluation is in reality the assessment of the processes and outcomes involved, whereas consolidation is correctly seen as the process of applying the results of evaluation, together with current experience, in order to modify our goals, plans and implementation. Well, go on. That's it. That's all? Yes, Leader. Putting it simply, yes.
Yes, I must admit you did put it simply, but what does it all mean?
To coin an old Larundelian saying, when the bat winks his eye, the heron must fly off with the sun.
Yes, of course. I couldn't have put it better myself. But what should we do?
I suggest we should appoint a committee. Might I be so bold as suggest the so-called Spade Gang? The purpose of which shall be to make recommendations to implement the corporate plan of the Stealth Commission.
An excellent suggestion, Mr. Oldfellow. Well, gentlemen, and lady, any questions?
Yeah, please, Leader, I have.
The Chair recognises Mr. Jericho, Minister of Agriculture.
I must admit to being confused. I always had the idea that the whole idea of the vegetable sector was to provide plant matter. Now it's been suggested that if anything is growing, we should sell it to the local nurseryman. And if it's not growing, chop it down. If that's so, what's the point in having a bloody garden at all?
Beloved Leader, I object. Such a line of questioning betrays a lack of faith in the Stealth Commission, which would be appropriate from the Organic Party, but certainly not from our own. I believe that I've delivered a perfectly straightforward explanation of the corporate plan as laid down by the Stealth Commission in its good old pruning guide view. Any questioning of this report would, in my opinion, betray a disloyalty which would besmirch the proud name of Larundel-land. Might I remind my honoured colleague of the old saying, the squeaky wheel is the first one to be replaced. It is not for nothing that the director of our sector of the Stealth Commission, Dr. Rover, said, honey may be sweeter than water, but it sticks to the knife better.
Good point, Mr. Oldfellow, good point. It does indeed. And it is pertinent that you should remind us of this fact. The Chair refuses to hear any criticism of the corporate plan.
It is my intent to adjourn the meeting now, so as to permit Mrs. Token Gesture to attend to the washing up as we've run out of clean cups.
I object.
Out of order. Meeting adjourned until 3 p.m.
Well, Alice, how are you enjoying being Larundel-land's very first tourist?
Oh, Marmaduke, I just feel so lucky. Everyone here has been so nice to me, and I've met such interesting people. Things here are really different to where I come from.
Ah, yes. We have an old saying, there's nothing quite the same as difference.
Beg your pardon?
I said, there's nothing quite the same as difference.
Really, Marmaduke, your wise sayings make my head hurt.
Ah, yes. A pain in the head is worth 3 in the bush.
Now that should be a bird in the hand, not a pain in the head.
Ah, not so. A bird in the hand is a fowl of a different feather.
Stop! Stop in the name of the law!
Indeed so, in the name of the law.
We have had you under surveillance for some time now.
For some time now, indeed.
And what we have observed is highly suspicious.
Indeed, highly suspicious. I agree, brother. Suspicious to an extremely high degree.
Marmaduke, who are these people?
Alice, allow me to introduce Tweedledum and Tweedledee. Together, they make up our drug squad. You see, I did tell you, we're right up with the latest here in Larundel-land. Officers, may I introduce Alice, our very first tourist.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Indeed so, charmed.
May I ask why you think our behaviour is highly suspicious?
To a high degree.
Indeed, brother, quite so.
Right, leave this to me. Now, Alice, I'm not a hard man. In fact, you'll find I'm extremely reasonable. Now, I don't want to see a pretty girl like you get into trouble with the law. I tell you what, you cooperate with me, and I'll see you're kept right out of it. If you pat my back, I'll pat yours.
I don't really understand, but if that's what you want...
No, that's not what I meant at all.
Leave this to me, brother. The soft cell won't work with this dame. She's hard. Hard as nails. Now listen here, sister. We know what you're up to. There's no use trying to fool us. We know. Do you hear?
I certainly do. You're shouting at me. Making me frightened.
Really, officers, you're making a terrible mistake. Alice is a visitor here. And what's more, our beloved leader himself appointed me as her official guide. Now, I'm sure that you wouldn't want our beloved leader to know that you've upset our very first tourist, would you?
No, not at all.
Indeed, no. Certainly not. Never. No, not the least bit.
Well, I feel an apology is called for.
Yes, an apology. Dear, non-suspicious Alice. Nice, soft as butter, Alice. I humbly apologise.
Indeed so. Humbly and apologetically so. Why, only a fool could not see you're as